Let's talk about a weird paradox: the art of laziness. Now, this isn't about becoming a couch potato. It's actually the opposite. It's about figuring out why we get stuck, why we procrastinate, and how to finally start living the life we say we want. So, let's just start with a number: 3,700. What is that? Well, according to the source material, that's roughly how many weeks you get in a 72-year life. Sounds like a lot, right? But think about it. If you're, say, 30 years old, you've already burned through about 1,500 of them. The point isn't to freak you out, but to just get real about the time we have. It's not unlimited. And that forces you to ask a pretty heavy question. When all those weeks are gone, what are you going to regret? Are you going to regret all the nights you spent just scrolling, watching stuff you don't even remember? The book really wants us to face that feeling, to think about all those things we keep pushing off to someday. Which brings us to what might be the hardest truth to swallow in this whole explainer. It's all on you. Seriously. The source material doesn't pull any punches here. If you're lazy, that's on you. If you procrastinate, that's your call. And taking that full 100% responsibility, that's the first non-negotiable step to changing anything. You see, our brains are basically wired for the easy choice: the couch over the run, the social media scroll over the book. But here's the big twist. A truly hard life is built on a foundation of all those easy choices. And if you want what feels like an easy life, one with freedom and accomplishment, well, that's built on making the hard choices, day in and day out. Let me tell you a quick story from the book that nails this point. There's this farmer, right? He needs to harvest his wheat, and there are these sparrows nesting in the field, listening in. The farmer says, don't worry, my sons will come and do it tomorrow. The sparrows? They don't even flinch. They're not worried at all. So, of course, the next day comes and goes. Nothing happens. The farmer comes back and says, okay, new plan. I'll hire some laborers. They'll be here tomorrow. And again, the sparrows hear him, but they just kind of chill. They know the deal. As long as the farmer is counting on someone else, that wheat isn't getting cut. But then something changes. The farmer, clearly fed up, comes out and announces, that's it. Tomorrow, I will come and cut the crops myself. The second he says that, the mother sparrow turns to her kids and says, okay, it's time to go. Now. She knew that this time he was serious. And the moral of that story is brutally simple, and it's this: nobody is coming to save you. Not your family, not your boss, not some magical opportunity. Your goals, your dreams, they live or die with you. Waiting for somebody else to show up is just a guarantee that nothing will ever happen. Okay, so that's the mindset. Huge, right? But knowing isn't enough. We need tools. So let's get into the practical stuff. Your own anti-laziness toolkit, packed with techniques you can start using like today. First up, the 80-20 rule. You've probably heard of it. The basic idea is that most of what you do is just noise. A tiny fraction of your effort, about 20%, is what creates 80% of your results. The whole game is to figure out what that 20% is and then just pour all your energy into that. Next up is Parkinson's law. We've all lived this. If you have a week to finish a 2-hour task, guess what? It's going to take you the whole week. This law teaches us a powerful lesson. Give yourself less time. Set aggressive deadlines. It forces you to be efficient and cuts procrastination off at the knees. Now, to stay focused during those tight deadlines, you can use the Pomodoro technique. It's so simple, it's beautiful. You pick one task, set a timer for 25 minutes, and you just go. No distractions. Then you take a 5-minute break. Repeat. It's a fantastic way to build momentum and avoid that feeling of burnout. The source also highlights some amazing Japanese philosophies. It all starts with ikigai. That's your why, your reason for getting out of bed. You fuel that with kaizen, the belief in making tiny 1% improvements every day. You do the work with shoshin, or a beginner's mind, which means you're open and not held back by ego. And it even covers your physical state with hara hachibu, the idea of eating until you're just 80% full, so you stay energized and not sluggish. So look, we've got the mindset, we've got the tools, but none of that matters if we don't cross the finish line. We have to bridge that huge gap between knowing what to do and actually, doing it. There's one final story for this, a great one about perspective. A king gets this special ring. It has a hidden message inside that he's only supposed to read at his absolute lowest point or at his moment of greatest triumph.
So his kingdom falls and he's on the run for his life. He opens the ring. The message says, "This too shall pass," and it calms him. Years later, he's reconquered his empire and is celebrating this huge victory. He remembers the ring, reads the message again, "This too shall pass," and it makes him humble. The point? Good times, bad times, they're all temporary. The time to act is always the moment you're in.
Which brings us to this piece of timeless wisdom. Yeah, sure, the best time to plant that tree, to start that business, to get in shape, whatever, was 20 years ago. You can't change that. But you know what? The second best time is right now. It's always, always now. So I want to leave you with this last thought from Picasso. It's powerful. He said, "Only put off until tomorrow what you are willing to die having left undone." So just ask yourself that. Whatever it is you're putting off, are you really okay with that being the thing you never got around to doing?